How's it going, guys? So, 6th anniversary is coming in a day or so from the release of this video, and hence there comes the other should you pull video for Hoshiguma Ultra. So I did a video for Haruka yesterday. If you haven't watched that, you can watch that after this video. I'll link it at the end of the video. This video is going to be focused on Hoshiguma, and I'm going to be really honest, this banner is actually so good. Both of the operators are so worth pulling, and this is basically just going to be a video of me telling you why you definitely should pull for Hoshiguma. Alrighty, so intro out of the way, let's go on to the operator itself. So here we have Hoshiguma Ultra. As you can see, it's just like Hoshi, she's a defender, except that the archetype will be different. So unlike original Hoshi, this is a arch protector. So what we'll be getting is a lower defense, but higher resistance. Blocks 3, everything else is pretty similar in terms of raw stats, similar HP as well. So that's pretty basic. So let's take a look at her trait. So as you can see, module level 3 here, there is a reason behind it. I'll talk about that as we speak. So the usual trait of arch protector is that during skill activations, normal attack will deal arch damage. With module level 1, Hoshi Ultra gets extra stat where whenever she deals damage and takes damage from a target, she will deal 10% of her attack as arch damage to the target. Right, so this is somewhat of a counter attack thing at the same time, as well as dealing 10% extra damage just from the module trait alone. So it's really powerful. Take a look at her talents. The first talent is that whenever Hoshiguma Ultra full HP goes below 0, she wouldn't go down. It will actually go into negative HP state, right? Within that period, so when her HP is within the negatives, she cannot be healed by other operators. So she can not be a target of other operators' heals, but she can be healed by your healing over time, like Study Alter, or be affected by Choose Green Floor thingy, stuff like that. And whenever she takes more damage, the damage will accumulate continuously until it hits 200% of her max HP. So as you can see, I'm at 3,876 right now. So double that is 7,000. Blah, 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 blah. You get the point. 7,700 ish. And then whenever she has a 5-second period without taking damage, she will recover 5% of her max HP per second. That goes to 4 seconds. So if she doesn't take 4 seconds, if she doesn't take damage for 4 seconds, then she will start recovering HP. That is pot 5. Now, when HP goes above 0, so exits from the negative states, she will exit the negative HP status. I think I saw the translation for it, but it's really hard to pronounce. So I'm not even going to pretend I know how to pronounce it. I'm not even going to try. Yeah, you guys can look it up to see how, like what word it is, but you get the point. It's a special negative HP state. Now, her second talent is that whenever she is on the field, she gets a maximum amount of plus 50%, 50 resistance and 35% attack status according to how much HP she's lost. So at module level 3, when she loses 50% of her HP, that goes to the max. So it's actually a gradual increase as she loses HP. I think at 1% HP loss, you'll have plus 1 resistance. Now, the reason I have module level 3 here is because at module level 1, this is actually still 70%. So without module, and module level 1 is 70%, module level 2 is 60%, and module level 3 is 50%. And the thing with Hoshi Ultra is that because she is meant to be taking damage, like she is actually benefiting from going to even negative HP. Is actually really helpful for her to let her activate the extra damage, because once you get the maximum buff, so the minus 50% HP, she gets another 15% attack. So that's 35% attack, 50% attack, and 50 resistance at max. So the earlier you can enter that max buff, max attack increase stage, the better. Really good talent to module 4. Highly recommend module level 3. So that's the basic kit for Hoshi. Next, we're going to take a look at the skills. First, we have skill 1. So skill 1 is a skill which only recovers SP when Hoshiguma is attacked. It takes 15 SP no matter if it's skill level 7 or M3. And this skill lasts forever. So it takes about quite a bit actually to get this activated. And once activated, you will get at most plus 70% attack, plus 70% defense. And whenever Hoshiguma takes damage, she will deal 75% of her attack as arch damage to the target. So it's kind of like the original Hoshi skill 2, except it's a skill 1 and that one is a passive. This one you actually have to wait for it to activate. Personally, I really wouldn't recommend this skill. It seems like a good AFK skill, but if you really want AFK, skill 2 does basically the same job in some sense. I actually prefer skill 2 if you really want to do some AFK, because you can actually deal damage for SP instead of taking damage for SP. I prefer skill 2. So that's skill 1. Really wouldn't recommend most people to master this skill. Just leave it at skill level 7. Next we have skill 2. So as you can see, it is a offensive to recover SP skill. It automatically triggers when she has 6 SP. The moment it triggers, Hoshiguma will throw her shield out and deal 90% of her attack as a triple hit to all the enemies she's blocking. Then the shield will circle in a full circle around Hoshiguma Ota. Whenever the shield touches an enemy, it will slow the enemy down. And also for 0.5 seconds, she will do 130% of her attack as arch damage to the target. Now, no matter if the enemy is blocked by Hoshi or is just next to her, they will take 15 hits in total. All right. And whenever the shield deals damage, she will recover 15% of the damage dealt. So this actually scales with the enemy's resistance. If the enemy has really high resistance, you're not going to be recovering a lot of HP from this skill. But if you actually do have enemies that isn't like the most resistance heavy operator enemy, in that case, she actually can recover quite a lot of her HP herself, which is really strong. And that makes her much more viable when it comes to AFK, because when you're doing AFK strategies, so you just put down the operator and do nothing, right? You actually need survivability, and skill 2 provides that survivability. The only reason I have this skill M3 is because I find it really interesting to pair with Arknights in IS. But if you're not doing that, if you don't plan on doing that and you just want to do AFK strat, actually skill level 7 is perfectly functional, because you're not really relying on her to deal the damage. The damage is like great addition, but you're not really relying on her. She's more of a put down and let her do her own thing kind of operator, right? The damage isn't a lot. It's arch damage, so it's really dependent on the enemy's resistance. Not the best AFK skill. It's just that as a defender, she's really good for that case, just because the high HP that you can get with the base 3,800 and then the 7,700 negative HP that she can have. So she has like a base HP of over 10,000. Really broken in my opinion. So yeah, that's what makes her skill 2 really good, and it's just IS. Alrighty, so that's her skill 2. Only M3 if you're playing IS. And at last, this is her main skill. I said in skill 2 that you only M3 if you're playing IS. I need to add a bit more. It's only if you play IS and you want to use the Arknights strategy, because skill 3 is the main IS6 skill. So as you can see, this is a 37 initial SP, 45 SP skill. So it takes 8 seconds to charge upon deployment. It will last 32 seconds. Upon activation, her attack range increases to this range. Her max HP increases by 100%. Now remember, because of her the negative HP status depends on how much the max HP is. So when her max HP is doubled, her negative HP also gets doubled. What does that mean? You have over 20,000 max HP within skill 3. She basically will not die. Now, also during skill 3, she will do double hits to at most 3 enemies at the same time whenever she attacks, and it will last 32 seconds. If you do actively manually closes her skill, then the skill will last another 11 seconds extra, and she will not be defeated. Attacks turned into quadruple hits, and she will take all the lethal damages all operator take within her attack area. So that's where you see in the showcase where all the operators within her skill area just doesn't die, right? After the 11-second ends, Hoshi will be force retreated. Now, when I saw the live stream, I think it was JP live stream, I already saw someone commenting this, so I think most people would have guessed this by now. If you pair this with extra altar, you're looking at deploying using extra altar skill 3 to deploy Hoshiguma immediately again. And then because extra altar skill 3 also gives initial SP, you can drop down Hoshi and immediately activate skill 3 again, and then turn it off, and enemy operators will just stay alive for another further 11 seconds. Absolutely broken. And if you just want the damage as well, actually really good damage dealer if you consider the closing the skill part. Actually brings her to top of the range damage dealer when it comes to just single target damage as well. And she also hits 3. Really powerful. Now, if you don't end the skill by yourself, then she's not going to be dealing the most amount of damage. She's actually still pretty decent when it comes to damage, just not as good as if you actively manually turn off the skill. So yeah, highly recommend everyone to use this skill because it actually dominates in IS6. And I'll talk about that later in the conclusion part where they use different use cases. So yes, highly recommend everyone to M3 this skill. Definitely worth it. This is the main skill that you'll be using. This is the first skill you'll be M3. So that's skill 3. Now, let's talk about her use cases. So obviously I'll go with your normalst event as the first thing that I will go through, because this is where most people will be spending their time with Arknights. And personally, I have been using Hoshi Alter skill 2 a lot in AFK strategies. You don't need to M3 for AFK strategies personally. And the best thing about this banner is that because her skill 2 is the best skill for AFK, right? So you can start using her at E1 for AFK strategies. Now, if we look at the other operator, Haruka, her skill 2 is also a AFK skill. So if you have both of them and you bring both of them to E1, you basically have good damage, good healing, and good tanking with just 2 operators, and you can actually start performing AFK strats as a beginner. Actually really broken, and I think a lot of beginners will actually choose Mountain as their first 6-star if they can. Obviously, it's a bit of a re-rolling thing, but if they get Mountain, you can actually have 2 AFK strats at the same time, and that is just crazy amount of laziness you can start from just E1ing your operators. You don't even have to go to E2, right? You're already starting really well. And also, I want to add a bit of an extra information. If you're starting the game right now, you can also have a self-select ticket, and in which you can get a normal version, AFLR. So if you get her skill 2 as well, so also E1, which is also a great AoE AFK skill, like as a beginner, you can just put your operators down and you can ignore them. You don't even need to activate skills at that point, except for Haruka, obviously. And then you're actually having gameplay as well, because unlike Wizardell, which just destroys everything because you're borrowing one, this is actually your own operator, and you can actually beat the game with your own understanding instead of just putting down Wizardell and just destroy everything. Actual gameplay, but still having it an easier time. Great picks. And when it comes to your normal EX8 challenge mode, Hoshi still tanks a lot of damage. It's great for a lot of those situations if you want to do AFK strat. Yeah, she's actually the highest HP right now in the game with the negative HP shield within her skill 3. Really powerful. Highly recommend everyone for your daily content. Next, we have CC. What else to say? Other than that, having the ability to keep everyone alive with her skill 3 is just absolutely broken, and eventually, I believe eventually, it will come to use. Okay, you don't even need to think about it. Something this unique, even if it doesn't actually get used in a CC, you would regret not having it because there's a potential of it getting used. Right, definitely. Next, we have IS6. Now, Hoshi Alta is actually what makes Defender Supporter Squad the best, right? Previously, we only had Radiant, which obviously Radiant by herself is really strong, but you could get Radiant in other ways. But with Hoshi Alta, you actually can get Hoshi Alta as your starting operator as well, which can E2 her immediately, which gives you her skill 3, which gives her huge area elimination capabilities. And even though she doesn't hit the most amount of times, when you go into boss key, she can actually solo most stages by herself. She actually can tank most of these stages. Like, you know how a lot of stages, when you put down the, there's a lot of enemies already on the field in boss key. Hoshi can just tank the damage. She doesn't care, right? Best part about her. And then her skill also hits air. So there, even if there's a drone stage, you wouldn't be bothered. Even if there's really strong like tanky enemies, because she deals arc damage, you can actually destroy them. Just all-rounder when it comes to boss key. So she dominates boss key. And then she's also a great boss killer, because you can activate her skill 3 and then she can keep all the enemies alive. So that's pretty decent for ending 2. You can also do ending 3 because of the huge area from her skill 3. Like, it goes on and on and on. You see where I'm going? She has so many things for her in IS. She dominates most early stages. She's good for boss stages. You can use her as a starter. Really strong operator. Highly recommend everyone who plays IS to definitely grab her, because she's that important. Now, when it comes to SSS, personally, I don't think I would bother with her. Definitely you can go with her as a defender strategy, but she's not really adding a lot to the equation, because we have already a lot of really strong operators, and you can do all the damage you need anyway, right? And then tanking, you really tanking in SSS, sure you can, but it's not a high priority. We already have other operators that already does a good job. You can just use your typical defenders, they do the job anyway. Not a high priority to pull for. Then next we have RA. Not gonna lie, in RA, I like her skill 3 range a lot when it comes to gathering stuff, but that's about it. When it comes to boss killing, you kind of need to perma-stall a lot of the end game bosses, and Hoshi just isn't gonna do that. Yes, she has the high HP, but no one will really be capable of healing her, and that's kind of the downside. And if you're relying on her skill 3, once the skill 3 ends, it's over. So yeah, really wouldn't go that route if you want her to tank bosses in RA. So that's about it for this video. I hope you guys had a better understanding of Hoshi and why you definitely want to pull her. Highly recommend. Again, I can't stop saying that. Highly recommend everyone to pull her. I know there's a lot of good banners coming. I understand that you want to pull for the true limited of Emoji Cup banner, because once that leaves, it might not ever come back. Like, you never know. Maybe when season 3 of the Bang Dream Mygo comes out, maybe they'll have another collab. You never know, right? We know that Monster Hunter is getting another collab. We don't know about this one, so it might never come back. I know you're tempted, but understand that there will be free pulls with that. Also, when we hit February, you can also exchange yellow certificates for pulls as well. So you're not limited to, okay, once you pull everything and you've lost everything. I wouldn't say that's the case. Most likely you will be able to get, you know, back up from just the daily or randoms and the free pulls from that banner and then the yellow certificate. You'll probably make your way back up there anyway. So don't worry too much about it. If you got some pulls, go for it. 100% worth it. And that would be it for this video. If you want to know about how to cut, I'm going to link the video here. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.